Nathan Reynolds and JKay leading the field to green here at Twin Ring Motegi.
Oh, caution's out.
Trouble maybe, I think, for Kyle Dumig. So, I mean, that was an auto caution. That wasn't a mod caution. I bet Kevin Sargent is feeling a little bit of a heart palpitation after that one.
Yeah, certainly.
He sent it in last time. Is he going to send it in again? A bit of lockup. No flags popping up. That's what we want to see.
And there goes Nathan Reynolds.
Poliski.
And look at this battle right in front.
Slider. He gets it. Dean is here. Dean about 3 truck lengths behind this battle.
Oh, and he sends it into turn 3.
Woo!
Oh, and he's really loose. Oh, he's going to lose a ton of time here.
So it's up to one of these two to make a mistake. Out front, Nathan Reynolds, well ahead of this, has taken the white flag. Matney maybe has locked up a podium here. But he wants second. Working through lap traffic, Nathan Reynolds already looking to take his second win of the season. He is going to come out of turn number 4 and win the All Your Race Car Belong to Us 180 at Twin Ring Motegi. The battle for second is on at the turn number 4. Matney to the inside, Poliski to the outside. Poliski is going to hang on for spot number 2. Matney with a career best 3rd place finish.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Not open here now. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
It's overtime attempt number 1. Steve Roman, Andy Poliski, both looking to get to victory lane for the first time this season. And they get to the Geico restart zone and put the pedal to the metal. 2 laps to go.
A couple of teammates, Reynolds and Dye, are also starting together on the inside, as it doesn't look like it's going to matter. The 51's going to jump up to the top.
But now maybe trying to look down to the bottom. Both of those drivers said they were really not looking forward to Michigan, but they find themselves in an incredible position to win here. Nathan Reynolds has won here before in Venom competition, but it's still Steve Roman leading the way. As Reynolds takes a peek to the outside of Poliski. Here comes Ryan Dye to the bottom through 3 and 4. Are we going to make it back to the line to take the white flag? Reynolds and Dye now hooked up on the bottom, but it's Roman blocking in front of him. White flag is out. Dye bumping Roman, trying to get him a little loose. Dye goes up the track. Poliski now with a momentum off the top side out of 2. Roman blocking 3 lanes of traffic. Dye is to his outside. He can't move up the track. Poliski is to the outside of Dye. 3 wide for the lead into turn number 3. Roman has Dye cleared. Dye is going to go to the bottom. He turns Roman. The top 4 are all wrecking! They all go around! Chad Stearns wins the race! Chad Stearns was running in 5th. He crosses the line in the lead to win it. Are you kidding me?
That was unbelievable.
And now, our feature presentation. After becoming an instant classic in Season 5, the drivers of the Venom Truck Series have returned to the United States and are ready for some 2-mile oval action here tonight on the banks of Michigan International Speedway, where for the 4th time in series history, these drivers are set to do 90 laps for the Drink Faygo Be in Fuego 180, presented by JKay Gaming. Venom Truck Series action is only found right here on Turn 200. The broadcast boys with a bit of an abbreviated intro tonight ahead of what will be a race with a lot of excitement. My name is Tommy Cook. I've got my partner, as always, Matt Williamson, here hanging out with us. Welcome back to the broadcast. What are we thinking here ahead of tonight's race at Michigan?
Well, the folks that are watching just saw the highlights from the last time we were at Michigan, so if that is anything to go off of, I think we are in for a spectacular race yet again here tonight.
Last week's race may not have been the craziest race, but I would argue it had a pretty interesting finishing order. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the points after a fun race, nonetheless, at Twin Ring Motegi last week.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this graphic here. Nathan Reynolds extended his lead by 7 points, despite Andy Poliski had a great week. He finished 2nd. But just not enough to beat Nathan Reynolds. So he still stays in 2nd, 7 points farther behind. TJ Bartel is the biggest mover in the standings. You see him there in 5th place. And then Palawota, still the top rookie despite his first DNF last week. So he's still putting in a great rookie season here, and we expect him to continue to do great things here tonight.
And I tell you what, he is off to a pretty good start here tonight because the Nathan pole streak has continued. 7 races, 7 pole positions, all won by either Nathan Reynolds or Nathan Palawota. Unbelievable. Palawota, it'll be his 3rd pole here tonight, coming off of, like you said, his first DNF of his career here with the Venom Truck Series. What are we expecting here tonight other than maybe a bounce back for Terminal Velocity Racing?
Yeah, well, here at Michigan, early on in the runs, it's gonna be kind of pack style, really, until the tires start to fall off. That's when we're gonna get a little more strung out. They're gonna be a lot more valuable here than we thought they were going to be. The last time we were here, we kind of misjudged how important the tires were going to be. They ended up being very important, and that is really the first time that you and I noticed Steve Roman's crazy strategies that he tries to employ every single week. That's when we started to notice that, and that has continued here throughout our tenure covering the Venom Truck Series. So expect some fluctuating pit strategies for both fuel and tires as we progress throughout the race here tonight.
Yeah, this season's race here at Michigan is 10 laps longer than last season's race here. So they were just barely on a one-stop strategy here last season. For the drivers that did elect a one-stop strategy based solely on the fuel calc, Not going to be able to do that, I don't think, if we go green the majority of this race here tonight. But we will have to see. It is the 4th race in series history here. First race here was won by Paul Ellison. Second was won by Carson Mitchell, who is back in the field here tonight and will start on the outside of the front row. And, of course, last season's race was won by Chad Stearns. And an all-time classic finish here on the channel. While we got about 30 seconds here, Mr. Matt Williamson, what are we keeping our eyes on here tonight as the race rolls along?
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather here right before we're going to start this race. We're at 117 degrees on the track temperature, so pretty warm. Not quite as warm as we've seen, the first few weeks of this season, but especially a track here like Michigan where they have high speeds into the corners. That is going to come into play here. Our fuel window is about 35 to 40 laps. Of course, we've seen people like Steve Roman and TJ Bartel stretch that out much farther, a little bit farther than what we usually think that they can. There are 3 sets of extra tires here and 0 fast repairs, as always, in the Venom Truck Series.
And perfect timing. It is time to get rolling here for the Drink Faygo, Be in Fuego 180 at Michigan International Speedway. And with his 3rd career pole, leading the field to green, Nathan Palawota, the leading rookie contender in the point standings heading into tonight. He will have a season, I believe, 3 winner here. Carson Mitchell starting to his outside. Row number 2, best career start here tonight for Palawota's teammate Oz Kanar in spot number 3. To his outside, coming off of his first career podium last week at Twin Ring Motegi, Rodney Matney following it up. He was fast in practice. He starts 4th here on the grid. Nathan Reynolds, the 2-time series champion, current points leader, and last week's winner, starts in 5th next to his teammate JKay, who will start on the outside of row number 3 at his home race here tonight that he is sponsoring. Eric Breeding, great starting spot for him here tonight. He starts on the inside of row number 4, exactly where he was on the final restart of last season's race, next to Chad Stearns. Stearns, last season's winner, will start in 8th. Row number 5 on the inside, it's Luke Peterson, who finished 10th last week at Twin Ring Motegi. TJ Bartel led the 2nd most laps last week at Twin Ring Motegi. He starts 10th here tonight. Will Salamone, then Brantley Gainey on row number 6. 2-time champ Ryan Dye next to Cole Maxwell on row number 7. Jan Van Leer and Kevin Sargent on row 8. Andy Poliski, Jeremy McKinnon on row 9. Brandon Fires is back in the field here tonight. He starts next to Paul Sargent on row number 10. Paul Ellison, a former winner here in 21st. Kyle Zittel, 22nd. Corey Rutherford, a podium finisher here last season, 23rd. Michael Dean, 1 spot off the podium last week, will start in 24th. Jeremy Carter, then Garrett Rainey on row 13. Ethan Patterson, Austin Holyfield, teammates there on row 14. Then it is Gary Clark and Joshua Caudill on row 15. Rest of the field did not set a time in qualifying. It's Joshua Benjamin, Tyler Berger, Kenneth Graves, and Kyle Dumig. Well, we've got a second here as the pace car works down the back straightaway. A reminder that we are back on the channel tomorrow. And when I say we, I mean you and Matt Williamson. He has got the action for the Daredevil Series all to himself tomorrow at Rockingham. 100 laps of the probably going to be the craziest race of the season. Just going to say that up front. It's going to be a wild one. So hope you'll join us for that here tomorrow. And quickly, shout-outs to Hunter Leach in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us here tonight. If you're hanging out with us, let us know. Drop us a chat, and we'll get ready to get rocking and rolling around Michigan here. Pace car hangs to the left. It's Nathan Palawota and Carson Mitchell on the front row coming to the start zone. Drink Faygo and be in Fuego. Those are the only goals here tonight in Michigan as the Venom Truck Series is under green. We'll see just how quickly it's going to get packed up here, as we already got 3 wide for second.
Yep, didn't take much time. A lot of room in the corners here. You're going to see 3, maybe even 4 wide all night long, especially on those restarts with fresh tires. It is certainly doable. Oh, a little movement there in the back.
Oh, boy. I think that might have been Cole Maxwell.
Oh,
They go
turned.
around. Maxwell caught up, I believe that was with Jan Van Leer. So teammates there will bring out the first caution down the front straightaway before we make it back to the stripe.
Yeah, I mean, that started way back right in the beginning of turn number 3. I'm going to see if I can figure out where exactly this started. Kind of already started here. Let's go back a little bit farther. We're going to go ahead and go behind Cole Maxwell as he enters turn number 3 here. I think he just got loose on his own, but it was hard to tell. Yep, and you can see him already starting to turn sideways to the left. He's trying to corral it. He has a truck right underneath of him, and Jan Van Leer gets into the back of him, kind of punts him, pushes him sideways. He was actually able to save it here, but losing a lot of positions. And then, oh, there's some net code there. Jan Van Leer was going to try to go around the outside of Maxwell, and net code kind of brought them together again.
Yeah,
So,
it's
cold tires.
Exactly. These are touchy trucks on cold tires, that's for sure.
And we see quite a few people come into the pits here.
Jan Van Leer and Cole Maxwell, of course, on pit road to maybe get some damage repaired, but also Paul Sargent, Corey Rutherford, Joshua Caudle, Joshua Benjamin as well, and Tyler Bergert and Kenneth Graves. So a few drivers in the middle to back of this pack say, why not? Let's roll the dice here. Extended stops for both Maxwell and Paul Sargent, who have yet to leave pit road.
Well, it didn't take long. We talked about it, carrying a ton of speed into corners with a hot track temperature and cold tires. That is, yep, that's what can happen.
For sure. Biggest mover there on the initial start. I believe Kyle Zittel went up 4. Garrett Rainey also went up 5. Inside the top 10, biggest mover was JKay. That Faygo truck for Allstate JKay up to 3rd after starting in the 6th position.
Yep, and you saw it a little bit earlier just for a brief second. JKay is one of our car inside with car inside drivers here tonight. Of course, car inside is the YouTube channel of his teammate and counterpart Nathan Reynolds, your current series points leader. So if you're looking for some tips, especially in the truck series for some official races here on the sim and iRacing, go ahead and check out the Car Inside YouTube channel. He posts some great stuff, some little tips and tricks to try to help you gain as many valuable tenths of seconds that you can here in the official C-Class series.
JKay just looks so happy on that Car Inside camera. He's living everybody's dream. He's driving a race car in front of an audience. You'll love to see it. Oh, man. It was a pretty good getaway there for Paluota, who fended off the challenge from Carson Mitchell. Paluota, I think, is citing himself as the cult of personality with that truck.
Thank you.
Yep.
The best in the world. We'll see.
Maybe he's saying he's back. Maybe that's what he's saying. After the DNF last week, it's been good. Michigan's been good to Nathan Paluota so far, but we are very early in this race. Off the inside, Paluota back to the stripe. Lap number 5 up on the board. 3 wide for the 4th position.
Yep, now JKay shuts the door with an advance from Carson Mitchell. Still 3 wide. That's Kanar, Matney, and I believe Chad Stearns.
This one is going to have to be all you for a while. I just crashed.
Alrighty, I'm going to take over the reins here. Sounds like Tommy's having some server issues. JKay, he rails the outside through turns 3 and 4. He actually leads that lap, and that middle to outside lane is one we are going to see quite often, especially in turns 3 and 4 to try to get a run down the front stretch. It's not as prevalent here on newer tires, but as these tires start to fade a little bit, carrying some momentum through the middle or off the top side seems to be the optimal spot, in my opinion, especially in turns 3 and 4. But now Paliwoda is fighting back on the bottom. I thought he was going to try to shut the door on Kay. Carson Mitchell doesn't pull out. He decides to help JKay down the front stretch. Doesn't matter. That lap goes to Nathan Paliwoda. Heavy battling up front here early. That's kind of what we expected. It'll take about 10 laps for these tires to start to fade a little bit, and then we're going to see a few drivers kind of fade throughout this run, I believe. We'll see who's able to keep the tires underneath of them, as JKay now has taken sole possession of the lead and will be your leader coming across on lap number 8. And now Carson Mitchell and Paliwoda thought about taking it 3 wide here. Mitchell still decides to stick with JKay for now, but not any longer. 3 wide down the front stretch and into turn 1. And I think I needed a little practice for my play-by-play here before my solo adventure tomorrow in the Daredevil series. This is the perfect opportunity.
That's exactly what I was thinking, too.
And Carson Mitchell still deciding to stick with JKay. I thought maybe Mitchell just liked the outside. Doesn't seem like that's the case. Now JKay on the bottom. Mitchell sticks with him. Oh, JKay slides way up the racetrack at turn 4. Mitchell has taken the lead. And now here comes Season 5 winner, Chad Stearns.
All right, we are back, and so is Chad Stearns up to the front, trying to contest the 3rd spot here underneath of JKay, who slips back a little bit. That'll put Stearns underneath of Paliwoda now, as Carson Mitchell leading his first laps out front, I believe since his Season 4 victory at Martinsville.
And you know, I thought as this run continued to develop, it would get more spread out. Right now, it's actually tightened up quite a bit because the battle for the lead has been quite fierce, and it has allowed the about 12 trucks to really all be in a little pack here, and the rest of them really aren't that far behind.
We didn't really see this field get too broken up until green flag pit stops hit last season. And then it really got spread out. Whoa, somebody just got mega loose there just outside of the top 10. I think it might be Eric Breeding. He had his hands full there, but everybody did a good job to not make the issue any worse. As lap number 12, and it still is Nathan Paliwoda up front. So I guess not still. He's retaken the lead here.
Yeah, I mean, the lead swapping has been something fierce here. We saw Chad Stearns up to almost 2nd place at one point, has now dropped back to 6th. And Nathan Reynolds is now in the top 5, so he's marching forward. Second place in the points, Andy Poliski outside the top 10 with Ryan Dye currently right behind him as well. Those two have a lot of work to do. Jeremy McKinnon in 9th. So a lot of the big-time players flirting around that top 10 bubble here.
Let's give some love as well to Oz Kanar here. He's running in 3rd. Just like Paloota, he had problems about the 3/4 mark of the race last week and also did not get to finish. They both got their career best finishes in Venom Truck Series competition at Texas the week prior to that. So a lot of them, or they both had a lot of momentum going into Twin Ring last week and didn't get to finish the race. So great to see them running 1-3 here as McKinnon, Matney, and I think Ryan Dye are 3 wide.
Well, it looked like McKinnon got really loose off of 4. His teammate Poliski was right behind him, tried to maybe go around him and thought better of it. Ended up just pushing him down the front stretch. This group is bunched up big time here.
Now, Matney, of course, coming off the podium last week, he is really working over McKinnon. McKinnon has been trying to work the bottom of the track there, and Matney has absolutely plugged his path there on the bottom. As now the field starts to go single file most of the way through. Oh, netcode contact between McKinnon and Salamone. Salamone, again, an incredible save, but he's lost at least 4 or 5 positions. As now here goes JKay underneath the Paloota for the lead. And nothing going. But what an incredible save there by Will Salamone, who's fallen outside of the top 15 now.
Right there in that group behind McKinnon where that contact happened is your second place in the points. Andy Poliski, we mentioned just a bit ago, was just outside the top 10. He's actually fallen down to 14th now. Meanwhile, Ryan Dye, who is behind him, has gained 5 positions up to 9th now.
There's netcode galore here as Kanar and Mitchell, they have not touched, but the sim has registered at least 3 or 4 times that they have made contact, and these two have just been fighting the invisible hand of the sim here.
And now Nathan Reynolds, and a huge shout out to Brantley Gainey. He's up 6 spots in the 6th place right now.
So Mitchell kind of in no man's land right now as he tries to catch up to Nathan Paloota and JKay. Oz Kanar is just re-overtaken the 4th position from Nathan Reynolds. And Brantley Gainey, TJ Bartell, Chad Stearns in the mix here as well. And Rodney Matney and Michael Dean, the rest of your top 10 here as we work lap number 17.
And Chad Stearns, as we see often, he is cruising around the bottom of this racetrack just as good as anybody. Currently underneath of TJ Bartell, he now has fallen back a little bit to just under Rodney Matney.
And more on Chad Stearns in a second as here goes JKay underneath the Paloota. He's got a good look for the lead here. I think he has it at the line, but not quite clear on the 6. Now he is, and he moves up the track. Paloota is going to try and cross him over here. Kay a little bit loose. Paloota's got that working nicely. He is clear up now.
And as that's developing, let's go ahead and go car inside with the man who owns car inside. That is one Nathan Reynolds. He currently sits in 4th. Has a great look at the battle developing here.
He goes to the low middle there with JKay, his teammate. Now we'll slot back in the line behind Carson Mitchell as Kay again is looking underneath of Paloota for the lead. Reynolds now a little bit moves up the track on defense in front of Oz Kanar. Mitchell is going to try and do the same. Not a whole lot of room to work with there, though.
And we'll see. Reynolds started on the top in turn 1, continued through. See this run that he has on Mitchell. That is what the top line is going to produce here all night, especially as we get deeper into the runs.
And Mitchell had a run on JKay. Kay absolutely shut the door on him, and now Mitchell's got his hands full again, quite literally, with the truck and with Oz Kanar. JKay now back to third as Reynolds is up to second. It's Nathan with an E versus Nathan with an A, possibly here in the next couple of laps as Reynolds chasing Palawota at Michigan.
And here comes Oz Kanar in that second lane into turn 3.
Ooh, Mitchell's super loose there.
Yeah, Mitchell has had a couple of laps in a row, had trouble with the truck through turns 3 and 4, just can't quite get it to stick where he wants to. And now here goes Nathan Reynolds for the lead.
Reynolds is clear. What is Palawota going to do here? I think Reynolds timed that so well that Palawota is not going to be able to get the crossover done like he'd been able to do on JKay. The last couple of times Kay got up there and challenged. JKay is back up to third. Mitchell is in fourth. Oz Kanar doing all he can to hold off Brantley Gainey to stay in the top 5.
And not only Brantley Gainey, now here comes Chad Stearns underneath of Gainey to take the 5th position. Excuse me, that's for the 6th position. Not quite clear. Wow, that's tight between the two of them.
We've seen net code from a lot less. As JKay looking underneath of the 6 of Palawota now for second. Oh. McKinnon and Matney seem to be drawn together here. I think Brandon Vyers just had an incident somewhere on track.
Now JKay able to complete that pass back into second. Him and Palawota have been back and forth seemingly every lap here to start this race. And TJ Bartel has his hands full with Jeremy McKinnon right now. Not only McKinnon behind him, but Chad Stearns below him. A little bit boxed in. Oh, McKinnon goes to the extreme high side into turn number 3.
Ooh, doggy.
Wow, and as you get farther into the run, you can get really tight and find the wall so easily through turns 3 and 4.
Now, last season here at Michigan, it was Jeremy McKinnon's birthday celebration as holy cow, Oz Kanar just made a whale of a save. But the celebration was off for McKinnon, who was, problems, JKay into the wall. They're wrecking.
Oh, and they're
Gainey
still wrecking in front.
Turns. Caution is out. JKay, I think, tried to shut the door on somebody and got turned. They stacked up behind him.
I missed how. We'll see it here in a second. Stearns ended up in the grass.
Stearns was moving, or Brantley Gainey was moving down the track. Cut off Chad Stearns, basically. That is how they both got turned around there. In terms of the JKay part of it, I mean, Kay tried to move into a gap that absolutely was not there. I hate to say it.
Alrighty, well here we're going to watch this thing all the way off of turn number 2. So Kay is underneath Nathan Reynolds. Palawota also working the top side is going to have a huge run down the backstretch here. Palawota's not going to lift, and you're right. Kay tries to squeeze his way in there. Not even a truck length in between them. Palawota plows JKay into the outside wall, nowhere to go. And I was trying to see, here's Chad Stearns, and you're right, Brantley Gainey was the other party involved here. He was trying to get away from it, and unfortunately, Stearns was right there. And both of them went down into the grass. I think they both missed the wall. Oh, and Gainey, wow, nobody hit him when he came back onto the track. That's insane.
He did cut straight back across. I could sort of empathize with Gainey there because of the angle. I'm not sure if that was Paluota or who that was coming back down the track. That was really Gainey's escape route, but of course Chad Stearns was there. I'm thinking JKay is going to wish that he had that one back. That's just a guess, though.
No, I think you're right. I mean, he's definitely going to have some damage to probably the rear and the right side.
It may not be terminal damage, but unfortunately, this is the second Michigan race in a row that JKay has crashed. Last season, he didn't hit anything. I was actually able to get a top 10 out of it, but unfortunately, this season, that is going to be way more of an uphill battle after crashing there, battling for the second position. I'm pretty sure everybody was on pit road that time. Not a surprise. Nathan Reynolds wins the race off with Carson Mitchell behind him. I think Jeremy McKinnon is going to come out third here.
And JKay still in the pits. We're actually looking at his driver camera right now. And he is going to, still looks like he has quite a bit of damage, especially to the front. I want to see, yeah, that right front is pretty torn up.
Now, to be clear, there's not a meatball. May have a lot of damage, but there's no meatball on. So that's got to be some amount of promising.
Alrighty.
So we have lost. We have not lost anybody as a result of that caution. But under green flag racing action, Ethan Patterson and Brandon Vyers both had separate incidents that saw them both getting meatball flags. They have both retired from the race. Tyler Bergert has gotten a black flag here. I'm not sure for what. But coming to a restart on lap 28, where a lot of this field has been turned upside down. Not quite literally yet, at least. Nathan Reynolds has elected the inside. He will have Carson Mitchell to his outside. Row number 2 will be Jeremy McKinnon and Oz Kinar. Row number 3 will be TJ Bartel and Nathan Paluota. Row number 4 is still Chad Stearns on the inside with Ronnie Matney to his outside. And your top 10 is rounded out by Kyle Zittel and Andy Poliski. Worth pointing out, Nathan Reynolds has won on every single track type in Venom Series competition except for a 2-mile oval. He was very, very close last season.
About as close as you can get without disaster.
Tantalizingly close as we are back to green.
Shout out to Mr. Kingslayer and Jacob Nagy in the chat. Yeah, wicked wreck, certainly avoidable there. Like we said, JKay is going to wish he had a little more oversight on that one. And old Nagy's in the chat saying rubbing and wrecking. Yeah, there was no tugging. It was just wrecking going on there.
As look at this run here by Jeremy McKinnon, trying to find his way around Nathan Reynolds.
Wow. I thought McKinnon was just going to rail the outside. We saw him trying that at the end of the last run before we had that caution fly out. He ends up crossing it over to the inside and is now taking the lead.
What I was trying to say before that caution came out was that last season was Jeremy McKinnon's birthday bash here at Michigan. And he was running up front for most of the opening portion of the race and then got a black flag and then wrecked on top of it. So already going a lot better for Jeremy McKinnon in Season 6 here, hoping it stays that way here tonight at Michigan.
And somebody that's returning to us here again that we didn't see too much of last season is third place Carson Mitchell, and he has been back and forth with the leaders of this race for the opening third of the race so far and has no signs of slowing down. He is working on your series points leader right now, Nathan Reynolds.
He made one start last season, ran in the top 5 most of the race. I think ended up 6th. But this season, I think he's been here the majority of the races. They have just not gone his way. So it is awesome to see Carson Mitchell back up at the front of this field and running in the 2nd position right now after a great pass there on Nathan Reynolds. Last time around, Will Salamone set the purple lap of the session. So they are still clicking off some fast ones here.
And back here outside of Stearns is Nathan Palawota, who was the one that plowed into the back of JKay. Doesn't seem to have slowed him down at all. He dives to the bottom of the 74.
Palawota is clear on Bartel. Now underneath of Reynolds, and Carson Mitchell is going to have a run on McKinnon now. But may just stay tucked up behind him, or maybe not. Oh, Palawota barely clears it. I mean, he cleared himself off of Bartel there. That was tight.
And don't look now, we have somebody that has moved up a boatload of positions already.
Uh-oh.
It's the 53 of Kyle Zittel.
Here goes Mitchell for the lead. Zittel loves pack-style races, and although it may not finish like a pack-style race, it's a pack-style race right now. So Zittel on the charge, as is Mitchell to the front.
And for those guys that do like pack-style racing, even if you're not super comfortable after the tires go away here, I mean, you can use that pack style in the beginning to get yourself great track position that's going to set you up, even if you're not the most comfortable at the end of a run, to at least put you at somewhat of an advantage over your competitors.
I think the other name you think of in the Venom Truck Series when it comes to plate racing would be Jeremy McKinnon. So it's not a shock to see McKinnon challenging for the lead here once again. Reynolds is bringing the cavalry with him, but for now it's the 12 up front. Here comes the run from Reynolds to the inside of Mitchell. And he is clear.
And once again, these top 12 or so are all bunched up right here together. And one name that has finally entered that chat is Andy Poliski. He's up to 7th place now, so he has taken advantage of a little bit of a reset after a troublesome and lackluster first stint here.
Lap 35 going up on the board. McKinnon leading quite the hornet's nest behind him here. I don't think we're too many laps away if we stay green from catching Tyler Bergert, who had to pit to serve a black flag. So we'll have to see how a lap truck is going to shake this field up here. Chad Stearns to the lead. I mean, we're pushing 4 wide here. We're 3 wide for sure.
Well, Carson Mitchell has a run. He could make it 4 wide if he wanted to.
I don't know if anybody wants that. At least not this early.
He's actually pushing Nathan Reynolds out to the lead
Woo!
now. Clears
Mitchell.
himself. There was room there. He pulls out in front of Jeremy McKinnon.
There was room.
Not much.
Not much, no. That's all you need, though, is not much, but enough.
Whoa! McKinnon, it looked like he was pushing Carson Mitchell in turn number 3. That's a recipe for disaster, but Mitchell, a great driver, is able to corral the truck.
Reynolds back to the point. Here's the lap truck, the aforementioned Tyler Bergert. See where he can go. He may be able to pull down on the apron down the backstretch here. That would be best case scenario for everybody. Or at least stay to the low side here down the backstretch.
Yeah, he's going to stay along the white line, but he's still carrying a lot of speed.
Yeah, he's not damaged. He just lost the draft, essentially. So he'll stay on the bottom here, and that will force everybody up at the front here to use the middle.
Nearly. I think there might have been some contact between Stearns and Carson Mitchell. It was close, if not.
think Mitchell's got twice the hitbox of anybody else, and now Mitchell's blinking real bad. He
And
comes
he's
back
also three
in the middle of
wide.
3 wide. Stearns nose to the head of Reynolds now. And with the lap truck there, I think they were 4 wide for just a second. Nervous moments here.
Wow, Chad Stearns went from about 5th or 6th all
Whoa.
the way to the front in about a lap and a half. He put together a hell of a run there. And
Speaking
now
of
Nathan
a
Reynolds
run.
is fighting back.
Oh, Reynolds drifting up the track. So loses a little bit of momentum, but McKinnon now is going to have the run. And we'll try and take it to the outside of the 38. This is some incredible racing here, let me tell you.
I was just about to say, if nothing else, I just want the league owners to hear me. Never take Michigan off the schedule.
No. McKinnon up into the dirty stuff there, opens up the bottom for Carson Mitchell to maybe take a poke. Kyle Zittel is now here as well.
Well, Zittle's been there. He's kind of been just trying to pick his spot smartly. He's seen the 3 wide going on. He put himself in that position but was able to make it work. Just trying to find the most opportune time to make a move, because if you make it wrong, you can drop a lot of spots with this pack.
22nd to 5th for Kyle Zittel so far. He has just entered the top 10 of the points coming into tonight as well. So looking for a big run here tonight for the decent one. As Chad Stearns, speaking of big runs, we didn't see a whole lot of them at Michigan last season until he crossed the stripe first. He set the league record for most cars passed in a single race, or most trucks passed, rather. 33. Went from 34th to 1st.
Wow.
And only led 1 lap.
But
The right one.
the right one. That's right.
Oh, how did McKinnon not pile into Reynolds there? Reynolds woed up big time there into the turn, and McKinnon was all but squashing the tailgate of that 38.
Well, there in turns 1 and 2, you could see pretty much everybody that was able to migrated to the top of the track.
Most
Trying
of the
to-
field is in touch here with the leaders all the way back to, I believe, 20th with Michael Dean.
Oh, there's some contact. I think that's Paul
Uh-oh.
Ellison.
I think it is.
and
Ellison
there's
into
some
the
more.
grass. Kevin Sargent. This field is scattering. The caution is out for the 3rd time here. Not sure. Somebody, I think it might have been Garrett Rainey, came down off the wall and got super duper loose.
Well, I know Garrett Rainey at least went through the grass. I wasn't sure exactly where it started.
I think it does start with Garrett Rainey. And I don't think anybody hit anything, but the caution definitely needed to come out there.
Yeah, that was really weird. I mean, his truck just kind of tried to turn left on him all of a sudden, and then he overcorrects it to the right. Tags Paul Ellison here. And then it's kind of a scatter from there. I think there was also some contact between Ryan Dye and Garrett Rainey as well.
Yes, there was.
So let's just take a slower look at this. Dye is going to try to go around the outside. There's some contact. And then next to them, it's the 09 of Sargent and Brantley Gainey involved as well.
Everybody apologized over the radio. There were no hard feelings. Nor should there be. That was a weird one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he had no... I don't know if it was almost like a net code with the wall type of thing, or...
Yeah, I'm not
it's
sure.
like the truck
Whoa!
just tried to turn directly right on him.
Some split strategies up front, and Jeremy McKinnon nearly turned Nathan Reynolds as the bobbing and weaving on pit entry happened.
And it's about a dead even half split here. between
Drivers
drivers
on.
coming into pit and not.
Chad Stearns, Nathan Reynolds, Carson Mitchell, Kyle Zittel, Kevin Sargent, Garrett Rainey, Paul Ellison, Jeremy Carter, Joshua Benjamin, Kenneth Graves, Joshua Caudill, JKay, Paul Sargent, Cole Maxwell, Gary Clark. Those are the drivers that hit pit road. Jeremy McKinnon will now take over the race lead. Rodney Matney will now be in second, and Andy Poliski will be back in third. So these two, all of a sudden, back to second and third, just like they were last week. And then Palawoda and Bartel round out your top 5.
Here's another thing that's happening here, and I don't know how long they can push it. We said 35 to 40 laps for fuel runs at the beginning of the broadcast. This is going to give them about 45 laps to the end of the race for those that came into pit. I imagine if we do go green the whole time, somebody will likely try to stretch it.
Nope, Steve Roman. He's not even in the field tonight. I just realized that.
Yeah, Steve Roman is not here tonight. That's why I didn't mention his name.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for Steve Roman to go long on a stint, but I was like, I haven't said his name all night.
And while we're here, I want to go ahead and go car inside with Corey Rutherford, who has graciously helped us out in being one of our car inside drivers here tonight. He currently sits in 14th, which is up 9 spots from where he started. He's kind of been sitting around that 15th position, I think pretty much all night, right between 15th and 20th. So looking to take advantage here. He is, I think, the last person that didn't come into pit, maybe.
Yes, that is correct. He has my favorite comment of the night over the radio thus far as well. He said right after the crash happened, "I swear everybody just hit an oil slick the way everybody ducked into the infield there."
Yeah, that was a strange incident.
So whatever happened with Garrett Rainey, it was just a stack up from there, basically. Everybody getting tagged in reaction to somebody else getting tagged in reaction to the crash. Jeremy McKinnon is going to take the outside here on old tires with Rodney Matney to his inside. Like you mentioned, top 14 drivers are on old tires. Everybody else has some freshies. I think maybe some of the people that pit there at the very first caution are close to being out of tires if they're not out of tires already. So that'll be interesting to see how the rest of the race unfolds for them, whether or not we have another caution or not. Odds are we're going to have another caution as McKinnon back to the green. And we are at the cross flags this time. 45 down, 45 to go. Now would be a good time to get your picks in the chat here, as I believe all the way back to Oz Kanar, a single file now. Scratch that. Here goes Matney to the inside of McKinnon for the lead. And caution, Garrett Rainey. Rainey and Zittel into the wall.
Oh, man. Zittel was having such a great run early on here.
So Rainey is going to get loose, bobble, move up the track into Zittel, and nothing either of them could do from there on. Man. I just shouldn't talk about Kyle Zittel, I think. I think he would probably appreciate that at this point.
We're going to go ahead and go far chase here and watch this one in real time. This is Garrett Rainey in the, they're both silver cars. It's going to be the front silver car in the 13 is Garrett Rainey. That's Kyle Zittel in the 53 behind. In the middle through turns 3. Oh, yeah, he just gets a little bit loose. Tries to correct it. Ends up going up the track. Zittel went to go around him. and gets collected really hard into the wall. And we actually saw that on the initial start, that somebody in the middle of turn 3 got loose the exact same way to bring out a caution. So you really got to be careful on those fresh tires here. And now we have more takers.
Unfortunately for Kyle Zittel, he has a meatball flag, so that's probably going to spell the end of his race, to be quite honest, or at least was going to finish multiple laps down here. From the drivers that did not hit pit road last time, Rodney Matney, TJ Bartell, Luke Peterson have hit pit road. Everybody else was on pit road last time and or involved in that accident.
And it's interesting now, I think you're at a point where you can probably definitely stretch the fuel. It also helped the drivers that came in last time to get fuel. They have a couple of extra slow laps here to really not burn much off. So I think they may be good to the end as well. And you have about 10 trucks or so that have only come in one time and will have to pit again.
So this could very well be the winning strategy for these drivers that just hit pit road, other than Rainey and Zittel. So Rodney Matney, TJ Bartell, Luke Peterson, Joshua Benjamin, JKay, Paul Sargent, Tyler Burgert, and Kenneth Graves. Those drivers may, with a big asterisk there, may be able to make it to the end of this race on fuel.
And we're just over the halfway mark. Let's see if we've really had much change in track condition here as far as temperature goes, and it is actually increasing. 119 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. And it literally just went from 118 to 119 while I was watching it. So it still may continue to climb here ever so slightly.
So Nathan Reynolds just ducked onto pit road, which sort of validates what we were saying about you being able to make it to the end of the race. But also, he picked up a black flag. So I'm wondering, since I could tell he has a black flag, if this is a lap penalty, or rather a 40-second penalty, which is essentially a lap, or if this is an EOL penalty. Usually, if it's just an end-of-line penalty, I can't see it. So I'll have to keep my eyes on the 38 here on this restart. But I think that goes to show that maybe Matney and Bartell and company here are on the right track with their strategy.
Well, the thing you also have to think about is, are we going to be able to make it all the way? I mean, we've had this is our fourth caution now of the evening.
It's not seeming to get any easier as this race rolls along, that's for sure. Jeremy McKinnon and now his teammate Andy Poliski on the front row for the restart. And teammates Nathan Paluota and Oz Kinar on row 2. We are back to green. And Nathan Reynolds is out on track. He still has a black flag, so he is going to have to come in and serve the penalty here.
And Poliski doesn't waste any time. Directly goes to the bottom side of his teammate, Jeremy McKinnon.
Man, this could be a huge point swing right here as Reynolds coming into pit road this time to serve a black flag. Andy Poliski, second in the points, takes the lead, is about to get a couple of bonus points to boot.
Big moments just inside the top 10. Jan Van Leer, Chad Stearns really, really close together. Coming off of turn 4, Ryan Dye, Jan Van Leer. I think that is also Carson Mitchell and Michael Dean in this group. And they are 3 wide. That's Dye, Jan Van Leer, and Chad Stearns going into turn number 3 here. And we really haven't mentioned Will Salamone much tonight. He's
not a whole lot.
Quietly worked his way up to right around the 6th position.
Salamone right now does have the purple lap of the race, I do believe. But outside of that, and don't forget, he finished on the podium here last season too. So, but outside of that, it's been a pretty quiet night for Salamone. As holy cow, Mitchell chopped Jan Van Leer there. And JBL a little loose, hangs on to it. As up towards the front, Chad Stearns is making a move.
Well, Chad Stearns continues to bottom feed the way he does here, and he is one that came in to get tires with that big group when the field was about half split. So he's on fresh rubber, looking to take advantage of it here.
I mean, him and Carson Mitchell are just carving this field up. Up to second, now he wants more. Stearns looking for the lead. And McKinnon not really contested either. I think he knows that it's Stern and Mitchell's time to go up to the front.
Well, those two certainly did what they needed to do. I thought it would take a little bit longer than that, but they got it done quickly.
Now the question is, can these guys on the older tires hang on to these top two? Or are these guys going to drive away? The driver with the freshest tires, that's the highest position right now, is Rodney Matney, 7th. He came in one caution flag after the top two here, but he is carving his way up through the field. TJ Bartell, on the other hand, who came in with Matney, is not. He is back in 18th. Here goes Mitchell to the outside of Stearns. And about half a second behind these two is Jeremy McKinnon, who is desperately hoping that they will battle side by side here for as long as possible.
Well, they have Rodney Matney to worry about now as well, as Matney has caught right up to the back of Andy Poliski, looks to the bottom of him. Poliski shuts the door.
If those two weren't acquainted with one another before last week, they certainly were after last week. They battled like there was no tomorrow. Last week at Twin Ring Motegi. This time Poliski going to let Matney take the position. And now Matney underneath of McKinnon and takes it with ease. So nice. Matney going to try and insert himself now into this battle for the lead.
Yep, and Stearns has finally cleared Carson Mitchell, although Mitchell is definitely not done.
No. About half the length of the back straightaway in front of these gentlemen here is Nathan Reynolds. He is begging for a caution, I'm sure. He is already one lap down. This would be the kiss of death. Although he would be still the first truck one lap down if he went a second lap down. He would just need another caution.
Ooh, boy, a lot of movement farther back here. He just about got it, I think. This is right around this top 10 area here. TJ Bartell has finally worked up a little bit. He's in 14th, and he has a lot of trucks lined up in front of him.
Matney underneath of Mitchell now for second. He breaks up the tandem up front. And he's clear. Matney absolutely on a tear the last 3 races in a row. Now looking underneath of Chad Stearns to get to the lead. Oh, tight. Stearns with the help on the outside from Carson Mitchell. But Matney there running the lower middle of the track. A dead heat at the line, but it went to Matney. Matney still not clear as Stearns had the run there on the outside into turn number 1. Matney now might be able to get clear up. He is, and now Mitchell underneath of Stearns. Oh, Matney is all sorts of loose. Hang on to it. What a save. Watch for some movement on pit road. I think Nathan Palawota and Andy Poliski are going to pit this time. So is Will Salamone and Oz Kanar. They're all calling it out over the radio.
Wow, and Matney, he took all of that time to finally make his way up to the front, and he didn't throw it all away, but he definitely lost a couple of spots, just got really loose out of turn 2. And here come a bunch of trucks down pit road.
McKinnon, Poliski, Kanar, Palawota, Salamone, Gainey, Dye, Dean, Jan Van Leer, Rutherford, and Ellison, all on pit road this time. Carson Mitchell has just hit that he is pitting this time from the lead.
Wow.
So we thought these guys might be okay on fuel.
And here comes Chad Stearns.
Yep, Stearns in with him. So maybe Matney is sitting pretty here out front all by himself. Kevin Sargent is now up to second. Luke Peterson in third.
I don't know why. I'm just really surprised because I think Mitchell and Stearns will be out of tires at this point, and all of those other folks that just came in, I think, will have a set left.
Maybe. It's hard to know. With as many cautions as we had, I can't keep track of how many people have tires left. Eric Breeding, Gary Clark, Kenneth Graves, JKay, Tyler Bergert have also been on pit road. Nobody has picked up a black flag yet. That is interesting. I thought Matney might be sitting pretty.
Well, I'll tell you who has, in the midst of all this, has worked up to 4th place is TJ Bartell. Who,
you know he's not coming in.
Yeah, I mean, he is one to always stretch the envelope as far as the fuel run goes, and he came in right with about 42 laps to go, I think, and we thought the fuel run would be about 35 to 40, so if he can make this work and not have a caution come out, or even have a caution come out a little bit later and be able to come in and get tires again when everybody else maybe doesn't have a set left, I mean, he could be sitting pretty either way.
So Luke Peterson just got past Kevin Sargent for the lead. TJ Bartell is now hounding that 09.
Wow, this
Joshua Benjamin and Joshua Cottle are right here too. Sorry, go ahead.
This has gotten really convoluted all of a sudden.
Does it ever not?
Well, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast. How I said that there could be some kind of wacky strategies here if we actually get some green flag runs, and sure enough, here we are. And here comes the race leader.
Peterson into pit road from the lead. That'll hand the lead over to Kevin Sargent, who we've not talked a whole lot about here this season after Daytona, where he got a top 5 finish. But good to see Kevin up here leading some laps tonight.
And Sargent was also a little bit involved with that incident where everybody dove into the grass pretty much on the front stretch when Garrett Rainey had his issues. So it must not be a ton of damage here. The truck does look pretty clean.
You'll notice as well that TJ Bartell is not catching the 09. You got to wonder if maybe that's on purpose. Maybe riding in his wake, saving a little fuel.
Well, I can also see on my data that it looks like Kevin Sargent's only come in twice too. So Sargent Although we haven't really mentioned him, he may be on the same strategy here.
I have to go back a long way to see if Sargent came in with Bartel in this group. And we also mentioned Matney pushing up through the field right away, and Bartel did not. You wonder if maybe that was part of his fuel-saving effort as well.
You know what? I can do you one even better. I have the last lap that they came into pit on. So when that fuel split their strategies and about half stayed out, half came in, that is when Sargent came in. That would have been when Carson Mitchell and Chad Stearns came in.
Yep.
So he has actually stayed out from that pit stop. And then just a couple laps later, we had the caution, and then Bartel came in on lap 47.
So 7 drivers have not pit here. It's Kevin Sargent, TJ Bartel, Joshua Benjamin, and Joshua Caudill, Paul Sargent, Kyle Dumig, and Garrett Rainey. Everybody else has pit and is good to the end for sure. We have 22 trucks on the lead lap right now as trucks are continuing to unlap themselves from Sargent and Bartel, who I'm assuming are both in some sort of fuel save mode here.
Might be in a fuel save mode, but also might not need to be. I mean...
Bartel may not need to be. I think Sargent will probably have to be. Bartel is going to make a pass around the outside for the race lead. That 74 is back up front with a familiar logo on the front. Love that paint scheme. I mean, a bias aside, I love that paint scheme.
Yep, unbiased opinion. One of the top 3 paint schemes of all time ever on iRacing.
Yeah, I was going to say, bias included, I think there's never been a better paint scheme ever. But bias aside, it's just a great-looking truck. So Kyle Dumig came in last time around. Joshua Benjamin is slowing down a little bit on the bottom of the track. I think maybe he just needed to collect it. So he does not pit this time. So it's still the top 6 that have not come down pit road here with 21 laps to go.
21 laps to go. If we go back to Carson Mitchell, he is the first driver, and he's along here with Chad Stearns, that they have come into pit and we know for sure is good on fuel. He is 28 seconds behind your leader right now.
That gap is coming down a little bit, but maybe not by enough, as, oh boy, Kyle Zittel and somebody in front of him just had a real close call there.
And when we go all the way back to those guys outside of the top 6, it's a lot of the same names we saw before up towards the front. It's Mitchell, Stearns, Jeremy McKinnon, Andy Poliski, Rodney Matney, Nathan Paluota, Salamone, Oz Kunar are all in the top 14. And then Luke Peterson, who came in to pit a few laps later, stayed out for a little bit. He's actually in 15th. So this cycle has actually turned out really well for Peterson, I think.
And Mitchell down to Rodney Matney, essentially what would cycle out to be the top 5. They have sort of broken away. Nathan Paluota is trying to reel them in, but may not be able to. We'll have to see. Rodney Matney, again, just had to make another crazy save there.
And Sargent is sticking with Bartel for right now. And he does have a little bit of help behind him.
And
can't tell exactly who that is.
Something that I've neglected to mention up until this point. Kevin Sargent and TJ Bartel are teammates now with Raging Moose Racing. That happened, I believe, right after Daytona. Bartel joined the team roster there. So these two are strategizing together. Rodney Matney is now also a member of that team as of, I believe, last week before Twin Ring Motegi. So it was a great result for RMR getting a podium last week. Their second of the season after Bartel podiumed in Atlanta.
I have a little bit of an update on who that is behind Kevin Sargent. That's Joshua Benjamin. And this is for the lead. I mean, he can make a pass for second and then a pass for the lead here. He came into pit on the same lap as TJ Bartel did. So they are on the same. Oh, here comes Bartel.
Bartel and Sargent. So the fuel save effort was not going to be enough. Bartel really sends it there on pit road entry.
Wow, this is going to get really interesting.
And the third RMR driver, Paul Sargent, also hits pit road. So that leaves the two rookie Joshuas, Joshua Benjamin and Joshua Caudle, out front all by their lonesome here. So now you start to think that maybe the deck is stacked a little bit too much against these guys. And I think Joshua Benjamin is coming to pit this time.
Yep. Here comes
But
Benjamin.
he got to lead the lap. Oh, boy. Really sends it in there.
Caudle is coming in as well. All right. So we know that over 40 laps was just too much to stretch.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to stretch it out anymore. Although Garrett Rainey is still out there.
Other news here, Rodney Matney has gotten to the front of that other group that we mentioned before. So he is going to be the one that might overtake the lead, although he is under fire from Carson Mitchell, and there are a few trucks all here together.
So these five are now chasing down Garrett Rainey, who is yet to pit. They are 5 seconds behind Rainey, who, remember, has damage from an earlier incident. Actually, incidents, plural.
Also,
Rainey's still going the way.
Last time Rainey came in, same lap as TJ Bartel, lap 47.
And with not as aero-savvy of a truck at this point either, so you would have to think that maybe he's not going to be looking for the fuel number here, as Mitchell and Matney are absolutely swapping paint up front here.
Boy. Oh, and Stearns, I thought I was going to try to force the middle.
He did that at Atlanta, and it did not work out very well. This time rolls out of it. But he is making his presence known as Carson Mitchell blinking a little bit and a little bit loose to boot. Man. Crazy race. If you're enjoying it so far here, let us know in the chat. Hit like and hit subscribe. We've got some things coming up that you're not going to want to miss. Not only tomorrow, but maybe some other time. Very soon. Possibly this week. Jan Van Leer is trying to encourage Nathan Reynolds to pull a Clint Boyer and spin out.
Little update on Bartel and Kevin Sargent. They have cycled around in their pit stops to 18th and 19th. About 15 seconds behind this group we're watching now that starts with Rodney Matney.
Matney leading the way. Carson Mitchell right behind him. A little bit of gap now is opened up back to Chad Stearns in third. And teammates Andy Poliski and Jeremy McKinnon battle side by side behind them. Lap truck in front of, actually not a lap truck, I think. That's Garrett Rainey. So that will actually be for the lead once they catch this silver truck here.
That is indeed Garrett Rainey, and gotta wonder, either Rainey thinks he could make it or he's just trying to stay out as long as possible and hope he gets a caution here.
He will not be able to put up much of a fight here. But Rainey leading some laps here tonight. Every point counts. And he is in the top 10 in the points despite having a little bit of a quiet season. So now Matney is in the lead.
And again, going back to TJ Bartel, about 13 and a half seconds from him to the leaders. So it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to be able to catch them on the fresh tires that he has. But we'll see if he can pick up the pace.
Oh, Carson Mitchell, man, he has
Whoa.
drifted. Still
He's
not
still
done saving that
it.
truck. Unbelievable.
And now he's blinking. Oh, man.
It's
Make
the
matters
1-2
worse.
punch. So that'll bring Stearns into the mix here for second after these two had gotten away pretty nicely. Now Mitchell, man, he is struggling to hold on to this truck.
Yeah, I mean, once you light the tires up, it takes a little bit for them to kind of come back down and get comfortable again. Stearns now goes to the bottom. Oh, my goodness, he blinks in the middle. He was right in the middle of Poliski and Stearns, making a move to kind of block Poliski when he blinked. And he is having some real issues right now.
Here goes Poliski underneath of the 17 now for third. And if Mitchell can just hang on here to either Poliski or Jeremy McKinnon, he's got a top 5 locked down, assuming there's no caution here in the closing 9 laps now. Big if, though. I believe the last caution, or no, well, the last regulation caution came out with 8 to go last season, and then actually we did have another one after that, and then a green-white checkered. So that ended with a wreck. So the end of this race, bottom line, could get pretty dicey here, especially if everybody is drifting around like the 17. Can't say enough about Rodney Matney. After coming back late last season, got a top 10 at Canadian Tire for his first top 10 since he'd been back, a 9th place the next week at Texas, and then decided to skip finishing 8th, 7th, and 6th all the way up, and instead went straight to the podium last week and finished 3rd. Now, in the closing stretch of this race, he is leading.
Looked
And
like a little bit of
Poliski and
contact.
Mitchell,
Yep.
yeah, all over each other.
Mitchell seemingly got into the back of Poliski out of turn 4. Not real hard, but just kind of giving him a push, and then decided to dive to the inside on the front stretch.
The problem for Rodney Matney here is going to be the drivers behind him. 4 of the 10 winningest drivers in Venom Truck Series. Chad Stearns has 4 wins. Carson Mitchell has 4 wins. Andy Poliski has 13. Jeremy McKinnon also has 4. Although he is starting to fade away here just a little bit. And Stearns, the winner last season here at Michigan, is closing in on this 83. Stearns always likes to make these late race charges to get himself up front, and may have been doing just that, lying in wait. Something may have happened to Brantley Gainey. He just lost quite a few positions. Everybody over the radio right now is begging and pleading for a caution. Except for, I'm sure, these top 5. Four and a half laps, the top 5, well separated from the rest of the field. Stearns with a peak.
Yeah, Stearns kind of used the 13 of Rainey to get a little bit of a run on the leader. Couldn't make it stick that time.
He's still got the momentum. Mitchell and Poliski are both closing the gap here as well. McKinnon not as much, but he is still there. Rodney Matney yesterday in the official league practice was fastest. So this is by no accident here. Matney has been fast this whole race, and he's showing the way.
Poliski and Mitchell just continue to battle here. They cannot get away from each other.
Oh! McKinnon all the way from the top down to the bottom. That thing was loose. And here comes another block from Matney. Stearns thinking about taking another look to the inside here. He's up to the door. May not be clear just yet. And now, still not clear. Matney battling back on the outside. Side by side for the race lead. This time Stearns clear. Two to go. Matney fading. Carson Mitchell up to third, closing in on this 83. Will the 83 have enough for one more push here? Back to the tri-oval. White flag will fly this time.
Mitchell and Poliski have finally sorted themselves out. Mitchell getting to Matney may help them here.
Down the backstretch. Mitchell still loose. Matney looking for a big run. Stearns start the snake down the backstretch. Matney has closed the gap, but can he find his way around the 0-5? Matney up the track. And I think for the second season in a row, it's going to be the 0-5 to the line first. Chad Stearns to win again at Michigan. Rodney Matney, so close. Comes up one spot short here tonight, but it is a second consecutive podium finish and a second consecutive best career finish for that 83 here tonight. And Carson Mitchell will be back on the podium here tonight for the first time since season 4. Man, this race had a little bit of everything here tonight. And it's going to end just the same way it did last season, with some burnouts here from the 0-5. That is career win number 5 for the 0-5 of Chad Stearns, Newcastle, Indiana. He is the only driver to have 2 wins now at Michigan.
And he did it in much different fashion here tonight. I mean, he came out, played the strategy perfectly, and then just went to work, played his game perfectly there at that final run, as he does time and time again, is able to get it done with just a few laps left.
And as the burnouts continue here, for everybody, really, that's Ryan Dye and Kyle Zittel, his Zittelink teammates here tonight. We'll go ahead and give you the full finishing rundown here. As we already mentioned, Stearns, Matney, and Mitchell. Hope to hear from all 3 of these gentlemen momentarily. They're your podium finishers here tonight. Then Brook Guy Racing finishing 4th and 5th. Andy Poliski, Jeremy McKinnon. It'll be a 6th place finish tonight for Joshua Benjamin. That is a fantastic run for that 87 here tonight. I believe His best finish ahead of tonight was a 20th place finish a couple of different times this season. So awesome run for the 87 here tonight. Luke Peterson continues his top 10 streak with a 7th place finish here tonight. Good bounce back, maybe not where he wanted to finish, but Nathan Palawotto will finish in 8th here tonight. Will Salamone back into his top 10 ways here tonight with a 9th place finish. Jeremy Carter, his second top 10 finish of the season here tonight in the 10th position. Oz Kanar just outside of the top 10 here tonight in 11th. TJ Bartel will finish in 12th. Kevin Sargent in 13th. Brantley Gainey in 14th. Jan Van Leer in 15th. Brian died down in 16th. Paul Ellis in 17th. Michael Dean in 18th. Eric Breeding and Paul Sargent then round out your top 20. Joshua Caudill in 21st. Corey Rutherford in 22nd. Cole Maxwell 23rd. Tyler Berger 24th. JKay, the namesake of this race here tonight, all the way down in 25th after that accident. 26th tonight for Kyle Dumig, and the last truck on the lead lap is Kenneth Graves in 27th. Garrett Rainey a lap down in 28th. Gary Clark in 29th. 2 laps down for Nathan Reynolds, who dominated the early portion of this race. 30th place for the points leader. Points leader no more, dare I say. Kyle Zittel then the last truck running in 31st. Austin Holyfield, Brandon Byers, Ethan Patterson 32nd through 34th, as we'll go ahead and pull up our podium finishers here. And I believe it is the first Booth 200 appearance for driver number 17. That is Carson Mitchell. Welcome up to the booth. Welcome back to the podium.
I appreciate it.
Your truck there, up until about 5 to go, looked like it was out of control. Talk about trying to muscle this truck home.
The whole race, I was just fighting with my wheel. The truck was just breaking loose. Each corner, entry, middle, exit, it didn't matter. There was no amount of thought I could apply to make it not be loose, so I just had to learn to race with it.
Do you think, had the race gone on for another 2 or 3 laps, that you would have had something there to either help Matt get up to Stearns or to get up there and make some noise yourself?
I think so. The last couple laps, out of nowhere, I think it started to tighten up, which I could have used a lot earlier, but it may have been due to the low fuel. But truck tightened up. I started gaining a couple tenths, but by that time, it was too late.
Matt, what do you got for Carson here?
I mean, huge congratulations. Podium finish. Great to talk to you here. When you come in for that final pit stop and you kind of know you're going to be with the leaders here at the end, what's the strategy? I mean, you're trying to save a little bit of tire, push as hard as you can there at the beginning of that run. What was the strategy?
We got caught in a weird situation with that caution. So I came in, and by the time that caution came out, I only had 1 set of tires left. So I knew I'd have to go to the green. I'd have to have it go green all the way. So either it was that or I was pretty much screwed. So with that pit stop, that left me with 0 sets of tires. I knew if there was a caution, it was over with. So I knew that I just had to push it, hope that I could catch up to Jeremy because he was ahead, and hold off Chad, who I was racing with all day.
Well, you're on the podium again. Let's get some shout outs and some hellos going for you here.
Shout out to Nathan. I appreciate the information through the race. He was a big help. Shout out to JKay, even though he wrecked out early. He was great to race against. Shout out Chad and Rodney for the great race. That was awesome to race against him. Well, appreciate everybody.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, welcome back to the podium. Hope to be talking to you again here soon as the season rolls.
Hope to be back more. Thank you, guys.
And I think Chad Stearns may have left already. So hopefully he can make his way back here. But if not, we'll go ahead and talk to our second place finisher. 2 interviews in a row, 2 podiums in a row for Rodney Matney. Man, you were rocking and rolling all night tonight, and a second place finish. Nothing to hang your hat about, that's for sure.
I'm trying to make a habit of talking to you guys after race. I tell you, I was thinking in practice this week, whoever could turn the truck less sideways in this race is probably going to gain a lot of time, and I just tried to focus on that. Drove it in the first corner hard about every lap, and just tried to hold on. Chad had me on tires at the end. I couldn't come through the corner with him.
It seemed like a lot in the first couple of long green flag runs that we had that you sort of alerted us to the fact that maybe the right rear tires were starting to wear. You had a couple of crazy saves. It didn't seem like you were having the handling issues there towards the end of the race, though.
I was sawing lumber a little bit at the end. It wasn't as bad as once or twice there. Yeah, I was pretty much plowing the track there once or twice, but luckily I held on to it, and that's the trap at Michigan right there is the back end breaking loose. But yeah, it absolutely eats the right rear.
Matt, what do you got for Rodney here?
Well, you've put together a couple of really good runs here. It seems like it might be just a matter of time before we can put you on the top spot. What is there a race coming up here on the schedule that you've kind of circled and think might be your best chance at nabbing one?
You know, I like draft tracks. I haven't gave that a lot of thought actually. I've been trying to get a little more practice in during the week and just kind of hoping for the best.
I mean, I tell you, it's showing. You got 4 top 10s in a row, 2 podiums in a row. Your time is coming here real soon. Let's get some shout outs going for you though.
Oh yeah, shout out family and friends and my teammates at Raging Moose Racing. They gave me a lot of information from their practice this week, and it was really helpful.
All righty, well, I'm with you. Let's make this a regular thing. Let's get you back up here in a couple of weeks after the 4th of July break. What do you say?
That sounds great. Thank you.
So your second place finisher, no Chad Stearns. And he's usually a guy that will leave a race lobby here and immediately get into another league or another. He's just somebody that is just so race crazy. We've seen him. We've come across him in the very first league that we did together. Chad Stearns was in that league. So you can often find yourselves crossing paths with Chad Stearns late at night on iRacing. He's absolutely all about it. So we'll assume that's where he is. So unless he drops in here in the next couple of minutes, we're probably not going to hear from a race winner here tonight. But it's career win number 5 for Chad Stearns. It's his first of the season after he won 3 times last season. He's more and more of a part-time driver, but he's a part-time driver that at the end of the season could still finish top 10 in points. He just has that sort of consistency where he likes to run up front, or where he always seems to run up front. We expect to see the 0-5 here. Back up front in 2 weeks, as I mentioned to Rodney Matney. We're off for next Tuesday for the 4th of July, but we are back at New Hampshire in 2 weeks for the first time in Venom Truck Series history for the Fast Laps, Flat Tracks, and Flapjacks 155, presented by Flapjacks Pancake Cabin of Kodak, Tennessee.
I can tell you right now that is not going to fit on the ticker.
No, absolutely not. It won't fit in the YouTube description or like the title of the YouTube video. It won't fit. I made the graphic. The graphic looks fine, and we can make that fit, but no, it won't fit anywhere. So we're going to have to come up with some sort of abbreviation, or it's just going to be Venom Truck Series from NH, because I think New Hampshire is probably too long too. That's sort of the bulk of the Tuesday action for the next couple of weeks. Matt Williamson, let's get your closing thoughts here before we really wrap this up proper here today.
Well, I said it about halfway through the race. I'm going to say it again. Michigan can never go away on the schedule. It is, time after time in the trucks. Just an absolute banger of a race. Tonight was nothing short of what we come to expect. I mean, these guys just slice and dice, and there were some guys that aren't always up in the front that were up front for quite a while tonight. There's been a lot of movement in the standings after tonight's race. It delivered, that's for sure.
And Matt, you've got more banger action, if you will, tomorrow night, and you've got it all to yourself as well. For the Daredevil Series, 100 laps at Autodromo Dwayne Johnson. Good God, that is just... we finished the race under caution last time we were there with 2 cars behind the pace car. So, we're in for more of that, I think, tomorrow night. Any thoughts before Rockingham tomorrow for the Daredevils?
Well, the last time we were here, it was kind of like in the middle of the season, I think. This time it's the second race of the season. The third race of the season.
Second oval.
Yeah, second oval.
I follow.
Early on. I think our drivers are going to be even more antsy than they were the first time around. So I'm not sure we're going to have any more cars on the lead lap after that thing's over.
So that's something to look forward to at about, what do we say? 7:50 Eastern, 6:50 Central start time tomorrow night, right here on Turn 200 for the Daredevil Series. Again, 2 weeks. We'll be back with the Venom Truck Series from New Hampshire. More stuff coming up as well. Very soon. Very, very soon, in fact. Maybe a couple of somethings coming up very soon. So you'll be hearing more about that, again, very soon. This is an announcement for an announcement. But we appreciate everybody coming to hang out with us here tonight on Turn 200. We wouldn't be here without you. We couldn't do it without you. On your way out of the stream here tonight, be sure to hit subscribe on the channel. Hit like on the stream. Every little bit helps in our quest to get as many eyeballs on Turn 200 as possible here, and eyeballs on the Venom Truck Series. For everybody here with Turn 200 and the Venom Truck Series, for the absolute GOAT, the mad genius, Matt Williamson, I have been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from virtual Michigan, where the one and only Chad Stearns has won the Drink Faygo Be in Fuego 180 from Michigan. Have a good night, everybody.